Welcome to the latest IGB webinar. My name is Will Harding, Head of Esports for Clarion Gaming. Today our panel, who will be introduced shortly, will be discussing the rise and future of esports in Latin America. We encourage you to pose questions to the panelists. This can be done via the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. This webinar is being recorded, so you can watch it on a VOD on igamingbusiness.com and ice365.com shortly after the broadcast. I'm now going to hand you over to our highly experienced moderator, Pablo. Pablo is, among many things, an esports manager for Latam Media Group and an editor of the brilliant esports publication, the Esports Journal. Over to you, Pablo.
Thank you, Will, and welcome everyone to this panel, this webinar. We are going to speak a little bit or a lot about esports and esports in Latin America, mostly. That's why we are together here. Besides what Will mentioned, I'm now living in Spain, but I've been living in Argentina for my entire life. Now I'm working also as project manager at Clash, that it's an esports club here in Spain, but I will introduce, not myself, because I like them to introduce themselves. So in the order that I have them in my screen, that it's probably not the same that you, or yes, I will let them introduce. And first, I welcome Hugo. Hello, Hugo.
Hey, hello. Well, I'm the esports market lead in Yuzu, and basically my job is to oversee and to help the company to drive to the right direction in every esports venture. And our most famous product is the Global Esport and a live streaming report that go annually. And I'm talking based in Brazil. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Hugo. I will pronounce it in as I know it's in Brazilian, so I will say Hugo instead of Hugo. And now, yes, in second term, I welcome Diego. Hello, Diego.
Hi, Pablo, Hugo, Leonardo. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Diego Foresi. I'm the CEO from Infinity Esports. Infinity Esports is a Latin American team spread from Argentina to Mexico. We have several teams playing in the region, in the most important esports, and we are the current League of Legends champions from Latin America. And well, we will be here talking about not only esports, but talking about brands, the industry, and the most relevant topics for Latin America and this industry. So thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to share with Leonardo and Hugo this morning. For me, I'm in Costa Rica, originally from Argentina. Thank you, Pablo.
And final but not least, Mr. Leonardo. Hi, Leo.
Hey, Pablo. Hey, everybody. Hey, Hugo, Diego, and everybody that is watching. Thank you for your interest in the chat. I'm Leo, and I'm the founder and the CRO of BBL in Brazil. BBL it's an entertainment group, and we are kind of a one-stop shop when it comes to esports, gaming, and content creation and production. So from tournaments to integration of brands and how do you enter the market. So we are the place to go. So I'm very happy to be here to be talking about our region.
Okay, and sorry if my English is a little bit rusty, but I will catch on during this panel. The idea is to have a chat. Yes, we have been assisting to panels and webinars during the whole pandemic, and the idea is to have fun, to understand a little bit more about the esports industry, mostly, of course, in LATAM. And the first thing that I want to discuss with the panelists here, it's regarding the growth in LATAM. I mean, esports is already a reality, has been a reality for some years in Europe, in North America, in Asia, but the growth of Latin America has been really, really huge during the past probably 2 years. And I want to start with Hugo, and maybe with something related with this that you mentioned before the event, is that the Spanish and Portuguese communities is one of the fast-paced growing in the past year, and that combined with the growth of the esports industry in the Latin region, what's your opinion about this growth and this fast growth of LATAM during the past 1 or 2 years?
Okay, so yeah, Latin America is a very attractive and fast-growing market. For example, in terms of eSport audience, we forecast for 2021 are achieving 43 million audience. And for example, if you go for the growth of the revenue growth, it's even better. We had that 16% year over year from 2020 to 2021. And yes, absolutely. As we said, for example, Portuguese and Spanish were the language that grow the most globally on YouTube and Twitch. Just to give you some like ballpark numbers, Portuguese grow almost 200% and Spanish over 350% over a year. So Spanish achieved 1.4 billion hours watched and Portuguese 1.1 billion hours watched. And it's even more, if you see those numbers, is get even more attention when you think about like English is the world language, right? So if you want to go global, if you want to talk to the broader community, you're gonna pick English other than Portuguese and Spanish.
Perfect. And in your case, Diego, I mean, you have been part of this growth, and you have suffered and enjoyed this growth over the years. And what's the status right now, and what's your feelings? Which are your feelings right now with this growth of LATAM in esports?
Well, we see over the past years, and probably it's interesting how the non-endemic brands are more interesting about getting into the video game industry through the window of the esports. There are a lot of pressure from the corporate offices to the local marketing managers to have esports in the budget for advertising. What we saw, and actually we were the first one to have a non-endemic brand as Gillette. We have BMW, we have TikTok, Logitech, several I would say global brands, and the way they approach a Latin American team, it was changing over the last years. In 2017, 18, we were kind of sitting with them on a table. They have no idea what was esports, what was the idea of tapping these young audiences. And now I would say it changed a lot. Of course, the COVID and the pandemic made a huge impact, in those brands. So they are more interested. And well, I think that probably from that point, more brands interested in esports. Second is like the growth of mobile. Mobile is getting huge in Latin America. So younger people, that have no access to a PC or internet, now they can play, they can compete. So we are seeing that there are more and more brands, non-endemic brands, again, because this is the important part, are more interested in getting into esports. From our side, from the, I would say, team club, is growing. If we talk about percentage, I would say from 2018 to 2019, it was about probably 30%. But if you look at 2020, 21, I would say we grow our sponsor in more than 50%. So I see a huge growth for the next years, more related again to the new esports, and in some countries. But we can discuss later on about which countries are the most important. But I would say for us, more non-endemic brands coming into the industry, more interested, more demand on data. They're more, okay, engagement is growing. I don't want to have followers. Let's go in revenue. So more interested in that part of the business. But I think that with Leonardo, we can share some ideas and some information how to tap into this community. Yeah.
Diego mentioned something about mobile, and that's a topic that I will focus on later. But Leo, regarding this, and Diego also mentioned about non-endemic brands, and from your side, you are probably one of the pioneers in bringing non-endemic brands in esports in Brazil, and you have also lived from the inside the growth of LATAM, from tournament organizer to, I don't know, creating content for your brands and for other brands. So what's your situation, and what's your feelings about esports in Latin right now?
Well, I think that everything will change it a lot during the pandemic, of course. But Brazil, not only Brazil but also Latin America, we were coming really strong back in 2019, really strong, with many brands joining and major events coming to the country. We had international events that really wanted to share this experience with the Latin American audiences, not only online but also live. And like Diego said, I think what is changing the most is the way that we do the relationship and business with the brands, and how they are getting more knowledgeable, and now they are not only beginners in this topic, so they're coming more like talking about, hey, how can we do conversion campaigns? How can we bring more players or more users to our platform here that we want to monetize? And they are seeing that the gaming audience are a very thriving and engaging one. So this is what we do here. So we kind of have this knowledge on how to work with this generation, with not only the Z but the millennials and everybody, and talk about how the brands can interact and create their own projects, or integrate with already very well established IPs that we have, not only us but also, of course, the big publishers and other companies that work within this industry. So it's very fulfilling to see where we are right now and where are we going. But going back like 25 years ago when I started, from LAN centers and being like a niche market, now to this mainstream stage that we are right now.
And in every panel that I've been during this 1.5 years, we always talk about what happens, but never, I don't recall talking about why, no? And in this case, Hugo, you work all the time with the metrics and analytics and so on, and esports in LATAM is incredibly engaging, and people is completely into it, and it's driving new actors, new players, new brands. But why? I mean, why LATAM is so interesting for everyone? Even brands from and clubs from Europe are starting or already going to LATAM, opening operations there. What's your feeling? Why do you feel LATAM has that potential or that power?
Well, I believe, like, if you look to soccer, for example, like Argentina, Brazil, Chile, almost every single country in Latin, we are very passionate about national teams and even about clubs, and we are worldwide famous about like all the chants we go in the stadiums. And I believe this feeling is translated into esports. So like everyone, like when we had the major came into Brazil, the Counter-Strike major, everyone was like going crazy about the Brazilian audience. That's one of the reasons. But I think like it's not only about the audience itself. I would like Leo was talking this previously, and I agree with him. Like over the past month, I've been like a lot of like global brands reaching me and asking, okay, how can we, in a macro level, how can we interact and how we can engage with esports? And with one of those like global brands, I had to pull up some like global cases on, okay, how brands actually interact with esports. And out of curiosity, a lot of cases came from Brazil, for example. I got a lot of cases from BBL, for example. They had a fantastic job with a very famous soda beverage company, and there's a fast food. So like those cases, like the way the agency in Latin America, they deliver the content, they're not only looking for impression and what the KPI they are looking for, but they are also building long-term relationship. because they know that in the end it doesn't matter if you achieve a good KPI or not. But let's say you achieve a good impression and you overpass the goal you're looking for, the sponsorship, but the tone of voice and the share of voice of the community is not what you were looking for. In the end, the brand will look like we're going for a new business. So I would say it's one of the key players in Latin America is how agency and publisher are looking to create engageful content, and they are actually bringing influencer and bringing like inside people to help them to plan and to set up a strategy for sponsorship, for example.
And Diego, I mean, you have the whole picture because you get the feeling of almost every country in LATAM with Infinity. I mean, you are all, of course, in Mexico, but you also are based in Costa Rica, and you have teams that are popular in the whole region, and you participate in tournaments region-wise. Why do you feel LATAM is so special in this case?
Well, as Hugo mentioned, I think this is part of a global phenomenon. No, we are talking about 45% of people that are between 18 and 35 years old. No, these people, as we always mention, they don't consume normal media. They don't read newspapers. They don't hear the radio. They don't watch TV. So the way to really tap on this on those audiences is through the video games or the platforms they use for communications, to watch streams, to play, etc. No, so I think that this is number one, no, the key thing, how to tap on those people. But when we're looking at Latin America as a whole, I think that you have different communities or different expectations in each country. For example, if we're talking about Peru, we will speak about Dota 2. So the Peruvians love Dota, and Brazil as well, Leonardo. But Peru and Brazil, if you're talking about Dota, you need to be in Brazil and understanding the Brazil and Peru community. If you're talking about League of Legends, well, probably you will need to go to Argentina, Chile, and Mexico, and Brazil as well. But before this we were talking about Free Fire, for example, which is a Latin American phenomenon. Because and the whys, and answering your question, is because not everybody has access to broadband internet in Latin America so easy as the rest of Europe. Not everybody can buy a computer, $2,000 computer, to play League of Legends, to play Dota, to play Counter-Strike. I'm sorry for that. I know the huge esport in Brazil and Argentina as well. So, but everybody has a mobile phone. Everybody has a cell phone. So everybody, and the publishers and what Garena did with Free Fire, now Tencent with PUBG Mobile, is that the games can play in, I would say, medium, low, techie cell phones. You don't need to have like a high-tech cell phone to play those new mobile games. So this is one of the most important reasons, Pablo, why mobile is growing so much, while Free Fire has an amazing impact in Brazil, Mexico, and the rest of Latin America, and more players, because the access to this esport is easier. So I think that answer part of your question, and the rest is like is part of like the local taste. Because why do the Mexicans like more Free Fire or League of Legends than Dota? Well, probably because the publisher did a better job in Mexico for League of Legends, and probably Peru, the publisher did there. So that's what I can tell you about why esports are different in each country. And again, communities has a different way to be touched. The approach is different. You cannot talk to the Counter-Strike community the same way you talk with the Free Fire or League of Legends community. And what I foreseen in the future is that the platforms will be more related to every esports. So probably if you're a fan of Free Fire, you will be probably more into Booyah. If you're League of Legends, probably you will see Twitch. And I see that in the future we will have, like, for every esport a preferred platform, and Latin America is playing that game. and the growth is mainly because of that, Pablo. Thank you.
Yeah, Pablo, I would
Yes.
like to add that it's the sheer numbers, right? So if you talk, of course, we're talking about the western side of the world. So let's not talk about China, that monster that has their own numbers and sizes. But it's like Hugo said previously. So you just cannot do an international event or an international broadcast or a marketing activation without considering Latin America, because Latin America brings to the table the Spanish speaking community and the Portuguese speaking communities. There are two, like Hugo said again, the most spoken languages before English. And that makes a huge difference. So it's amazing when you see like a streamer like Gaules that speaks Portuguese being the number 2 or being in the top 3 in the world as the most watched hours of a Twitch of a streamer in the world. And with this barrier, with this language, even with the language barrier, and companies doing like not only doing their branding and trying to enter this world, but really understanding, because what we saw during the pandemic, and this is big because it was the first time, a huge shift into the media and the advertising budget that went off TV and mainstream media to digital. And of course, gaming is digital. We are digital. We are here, and we were born in the digital world. And many of these budget are now being channeled into gaming and esports activations. And the market is ready, not only with teams, but also with the streamers, and also with if the company wants to do their own proprietary activations. Of course, they do that. They already work with their advertising agencies, and the agencies are having to go crazy because they didn't have this expertise, and other companies are have more insights and more information and more knowledge on the gaming world. They are having to work together and see how they're going to translate the need of the CMO of the major company, because the CMO and the CEO and the whole council of the company were saying, it's not about if we're gonna get into gaming or esports. It's about when and how. And bring the experts to talk to us and see how are we gonna land this, because we have an image, we have competitors, we have a global strategy. And the thing is, gaming is now a lifestyle, and so a lot of the activations and marketing stuff that the companies are doing, they don't have to create a specific one for the gaming and the esports community. They can integrate easily a more general and global campaign that they have, and bring together these demographic and these kind of people that play games and love watching esports and watching everything around it. So and we have it all in Latin America. So we have a huge population. We have a lot of very engaging people. We are converting more. Economics and social are also growing a lot. So all these factors are bringing us together as one of the most interesting regions in the world.
And let's get deeper into the business. And in this case, probably Newzoo is kind of the Bible for every presentation, commercial approach, or whatever that from the esports is headed to brands. And in this case, Hugo, what's your opinion regarding the situation in LATAM around the commercial side? No, there are each year the new non-endemic brands join, and bigger brands join, and since you manage all this data and you know all the cases, what's the current situation of LATAM in the commercial aspect for you?
Well, yes, as I said, we have been seeing the Latin American marketing growing in every single aspect, from audience to revenue. So yeah, like sponsorship is still leading the the revenue breakdown in Latin America, but also it's leads in almost every single region in the world. And well, Latin America, for example, grow from 2020 to 2021 like around 16%. And as I can see, there is like I have the feeling like if you go like 5 years ago, we only had endemic brands, so only 34 brands, computer brands, and now when you look to the market and look for the tournaments, we look for the agencies, for the teams, the endemic brands are the one that we see the last, and we are now being able to see like the big retail, the big food chain company, the big beverage and drinking company, and like betting coming also as a prominent segment. So yeah, I think in like sponsorship and brand wise, Latin America is growing, and it's as we said here, it's mostly because I think it's a conclusion to all the trends we have been saying here, like mobile, it has high market penetration, and like as Diego said, everyone has a mobile device, and you don't need to be and you don't need to have like a high end one. It can be a low profile, and you have it, and you are able to achieve a new community. And then you have, for example, agency doing like some fantastic job bring up like community tournaments. So we have been here in Latin America influencer tournament that even have a higher viewership than, for example, the publisher one. And the reason of that is because with the influencer tournaments, the agency and the organizer is actually able to break the language barrier. Because yeah, I understand, for example, multinational publisher, you cannot be as casual as audience want to be, for example. But for example, if you're going for an influencer tournament, yeah, you can be as casual as you want, because the influencer himself, he or she, they are a casual. So yeah, I think it's the market is growing, and one of the big things that one of the bad things for Latin America, there is not only one single reason. There is like multiple reasons that every one of them is contribute to the growth to the region.
And Diego, you mentioned before some of the brands that you have had and have on your team. I mean, let's we can say Gillette, we can say BMW, we can say I don't know, the TikTok. That it's one of the biggest platforms nowadays, and worldwide we have brands joining Mastercard, Visa, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, Burger King. I don't know, even Louis Vuitton, even some of the luxury brands, and Gucci. You have BMW, Gucci now, yes, exactly, and Ralph Lauren now with G2 also. And how do you see the present situation regarding this, and you foresee this growing in LATAM? I mean, this is expanding impressively faster in Europe, North America, and how behind is LATAM in this regard?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think that a couple of years ago, the global or non-endemic brands, they were afraid about giving the microphone to a kid of 17, 18 years old that is 24/7 amplification. So they were afraid, and this is a real experience. We were sitting with one of those huge non-endemic brands, and they say, well, in our company, before we say something about the brand, we need to pass several controls, like the communication manager, marketing manager, public relations manager. So imagine having one kid with the microphone speaking about the brand. So that was, I would say, one of the major fears they had in the past. But as Leonardo mentioned, gaming is a lifestyle. So now the acceptance is huge. So because everybody's talking about this today. So, and it's normal to see one guy, having fun, I would say the values change a lot. With the pandemic, I would say a lot more. So today, and the way we approach probably one of those brands is that we take care of the entire communications with the brands we are working. We take care of the concept. We sit with them. Even as Leonardo mentioned before, they have their own like lines, strategic, lines. We speak about how to, accommodate those lines to the gaming language. So with TikTok, we did that. We made a 6 months test. They want to change this idea of TikTok being a platform for dancing and girls in bikini, and start being more education, more like contents about how is to play this game, how is the life behind the computer and stuff. So we made a 6 month, I would say, a prototype, and it was amazing. We had an enormous engagement, and they decided to move forward. So they became like a major sponsor with us. We have several activations, with them, and we kind of create together this esport gaming, idea of making videos. So again, I think it's one-to-one work. You need to work, close to your customers. Leonardo was mentioned that before, and brands are more open for gaming language, more open to esports events. They understand now how they need to talk with the audience, how they need to tap with these people. So I see that this will be a growing scenario for Latin America, as we see in Europe, and influencers are getting huge. Not only gamers, influencers. So I see that esports and influencer together can create this monster, as you have in Spain. No, eBay is doing an amazing, I would say, cross industry. He's speaking about sports, normal sports, esports, gaming, and brands together. So I think that this is a pretty good example how I see the future. And we have good people here. Brazil is amazing. Los Grandes is doing an amazing job there, with Free Fire, and the way they tap into the normal people. I love to speak with those guys. So yes, a lot of examples in all the countries: Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico. So I see, Pablo, more and more brands coming in. I see that lifestyle is getting more acceptable for everybody. You will see the other new rockers. When you see the gamers today, we see the rockers in the 80s or 90s. So I think that this is the new normal, and we need to work together with them.
And talking about Brazil, Leo, you have Gaules broadcasting NBA together with Budweiser. So this is getting really out of hand. And your opinion, Leo, about this? I mean, you have brought a lot of not-endemic brands to the esports landscape in Brazil. And you mentioned before this panel of the transmission about even investments, because it's not only brands and non-endemic brands joining the esports. There are a lot of investments from I don't know, investment rounds to footballers that are investing in esports. What's your feelings about this present situation in LATAM?
Yeah, well, now it's like the gold rush here. So you have a lot of these celebrities and that are becoming brands by themselves, and creating their own IPs and building their own companies, and with valuations going to millions, because they amass millions of fans and fan bases behind them, and people are now looking on how to invest into this, like what we say here, the creative economics, right? So not only brands, of course, they are trying to use that for their marketing activations and their growth, but also these funds and investment companies are looking to make a lot of profit on getting people from their early stages and helping them build these empires, where they are really becoming the new media by themselves. They are now TV channels per se, and being worth millions. and we are helping not only them but also these companies. We work close also with the publishers themselves, because of course publishers, their main focus is to keep making their games great and keep building the interest from their community. So they leave to third parties or to partners like us, for instance, the relationship with the brands and how we can bring these kind of money into their own IPs. So we work close with companies like Ubisoft and Epic and PUBG, doing their own content and doing these kind of relationships for them. So it's becoming more and more interactive. I think that it's endless, the possibilities, and where are we going with the amount, the number of people watching, and how this will turn into a big business for everybody. So we are really, really excited about the future, because the future is now.
I will make an open question for everyone, and then I have one for each. But who wants to answer, please raise your hand. And regarding this, all this change that we are living in the consumption, media consumption. No, you mentioned, Diego, people. It's a target that it's not consuming traditional media. It's consuming and probably doesn't consume anything besides Switch, probably. But it's not only them, because every year you have older people getting into esports, and the ones that come from younger are getting older. And how do you see this scenario in which this media consumption is already changed, and TV is already behind the digital consumption?
Let me give you a personal
Yes.
example. This on Saturday was the final of the Copa America. I'm sorry, Leonardo. I'm sorry, Hugo. I'm Argentinian, and I try to sit my son to watch the match together with me. I really try. Really try. So it's important. It's Brazil Argentina. It's not a normal match. It's one live match. It's in Brazil. So he started with me. 5 minutes later, he left. Then was the goal. He came, watched the goal. Good. Congratulations, Papa. Blah, out again. So if I was not able to sit my son to see an Argentinian Brazil match for 90 minutes, I'm not talking about like extra time or penalties. 90 minutes. He does not understand what is between one goal and the other. He get bored. So
Diego, one thing. Here in Spain, Ibai broadcast the match, and he had 600,000 people concurrent watching the game.
But probably because he was creating a different kind of content.
Absolutely, and of course he did. He in the middle he was talking about something else. He made examples. It was not a match. It was not a match the way we see the match. Sitting there watching the match, suffering. Probably having a drink or something. No, he stand up, sit up. So he don't understand. So again. We need to catch their attention. The dynamic on the sports need to change. Probably it will change. Football probably will change, or I don't know, beach tennis it will change or not. But yeah, probably we need to get more and more dynamic. And again, what Leo said, it will be a game changer. I think that we will be seeing more and more influencers getting into the normal sports, and kind of like making them like more attractive for those audiences. But this is a personal example.
Either that or the numbers will drop. It's simple as that. They are already seeing the numbers drop. I don't think we will have time to get into that, but the Olympics are coming and almost nobody's talking about it. And it's kind of, this generation is like, who cares about something that happens every 4 years? And 4 years for them, it's a lifetime, and they're doing their own thing, watching their own content. But probably if the Olympic Committee it's clever enough, they will hire some influencers and hire some people into the gaming world to do the broadcast, to do some side thing that will be engaging and more fun to watch.
Let me doubt they will, but okay.
No,
Diego mentioned, yes.
Pablo, don't get there. You know, we start doing tournaments with the associations of cars in the countries. We did one in Colombia, one in Costa Rica. Now we are doing the Central American, I will say, tournament. We spoke with the FIA. I was with Jan Todd, you know, and all the guys, you know, explaining to them how is that. So we are kind of like trying to build the bridge between normal sport and digital. Of course, it's easier with sim racing because it's almost the same. I have to be honest, it's more, but something very interesting, and this is the last example I will give you, is that when we did like the physical part of the tournament, we have the father and the son playing together. So that was the first time that I see something like that, you know, and we did tournaments over almost all the esports, and this was one that it was getting really close. So, and believe me, to convince like the old guys from the associations that this is the way, it was an amazing job, and now it's working. So I have confidence that probably that will be like the first step, you know, to have more and more those kind of events. So I mentioned that because of the Olympics. So probably
Yes.
we need to start building something with those kind of esports that are more like a mirror with the physical. Yeah.
Okay, Diego, you gave me your impressions for the future. Hugo, what's the future like for esports in LATAM? And I ask you please to resume this in 1 minute.
Okay, I will try. Well, 1 minute elevator speech. I would say, well, it's look bright. Like the numbers are rising. We have the 5G coming up. 5G will likely to increase the mobile market penetration because it allows people to play with like low latency. It also allows more IoT connectivity. So, well, it's also allow, for example, it's going to be a boost in the cloud gaming because you can play computer games into your mobile, and it's going to make the gaming community bigger. And like by the gaming community, you have always the gamers that are competitive, and those are likely to be more esports friends. So yeah, that would be my 1 minute version.
And for you, Leo, I mean, mobile is investments, non-endemic brands, it's esports in traditional media. What's the future like?
New venues that are driven and built specifically for that kind of products. So like the ones we are building here, like in Sao Paulo, that's going to be the largest battle royale arena in the world. We're seeing this being built and developed in other countries as well. So it's the future of entertainment. So people like Diego pointed out, so traditional sports they really need to revamp the way that they communicate and the way they do their broadcast, because they are, yes, losing the interest of the new generation, and gaming and esports are already with them. They were born with it, and we'll be seeing more and more of this content getting also into the mainstream channels, because yes, they need that in order to keep the media budget and to keep the audience still on their channels. And but like you said, much more well, higher paychecks and higher budgets coming into the bucket of gaming and entertainment. So this is where I see the future.
Perfect. Yes, Arena Pacaembu in Brazil, the Chile training, sorry, the Infinity Training Center in Costa Rica. I don't know, Vitality has one in Paris. Astralis just opened one in Copenhagen. Giants in Malaga. This is clearly the future for esports. And we are out of time, sadly. There are a lot of things to be talked, but never the time is enough. Thank you everyone for being here. You can reach us in social media if you have any further questions. At least you can reach me. And thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you to everyone here on this panel. It's been a pleasure as always, and please keep with us for more content about esports.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
And if you want to watch the video Again, give us 24 hours to upload it on igamingbusiness.com or ice365.com. Thank you to all the panelists, and till next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.